Have you ever felt like you've studied English for ages, you know all the grammar, you've got a decent vocabulary, but when it comes to actually sounding natural,
Yeah.
confident,
Yeah.
really flowing in a conversation, it just, well, it isn't quite there.
Like something's missing.
Exactly, like you're missing that secret ingredient to unlock that effortless fluency. If that sounds like you, you're definitely not alone.
Not at all. It's super common.
And that's exactly what the deep dive is for. It's your shortcut, really, to uncovering practical, transformative knowledge.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into a powerful, but maybe often overlooked, language learning technique. It's called shadowing. We've basically distilled insights from a whole stack of expert sources, research papers, surprising discoveries, all compiled just for you. Our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to unpack what shadowing actually is, why it's so effective for English learners, its surprising benefits that go way beyond just pronunciation.
Right.
And most importantly, how you can start using it, like right away, to really transform your English. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's really compelling about shadowing, I think, is how it hits that exact pain point you mentioned.
Okay.
It really bridges this critical gap, It moves you from just passive listening to actively producing the language. So this technique, it directly fosters fluency, it builds real confidence, and it sharpens your linguistic accuracy. Things that, honestly, a lot of traditional methods kind of struggle with. It's about turning that theory into like fluid, natural practice.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning then. What is this technique? Is it just, repeating stuff after someone, or is there something more to it?
It's definitely more than just repeating, much more. Imagine listening to a native or maybe a fluent English speaker.
Okay.
It could be audio, video, even live speech. And then you repeat their words almost simultaneously.
Almost simultaneously.
Yeah, that's the key bit, like ideally within a split second. And you're not just copying the words.
Yeah.
Crucially, you're mimicking the speaker's tone, their stress, the rhythm, the intonation.
Ah, okay, so everything.
Pretty much. It's like a full linguistic workout. Your whole mouth, your ears, your brain.
Wow.
And its origins are actually pretty fascinating. It first came out of training for simultaneous interpreters.
Oh, really? Interpreters?
Yeah, because they need to process language coming in and produce the target language almost instantly, right?
Right, under pressure.
Exactly. So that's why it engages so many cognitive processes at once. It's way beyond simple repetition or just memorizing stuff. It forces you into this really active listening mode and then immediate production.
That makes total sense, the interpreter connection. So who kind of brought this into the mainstream for, everyday language learners like us? And what kind of materials can you actually use? Is it super specialized stuff?
Well, it was definitely popularized by language learning experts, people like Alexander Argall. But the really great news is how accessible the materials are. Honestly, almost anything works. Think podcasts.
Like this one.
Yeah, maybe. Movie dialogues, formal speeches like TED Talks, even audiobooks.
YouTube videos.
Absolutely. YouTube's perfect. Apps like Audible or Fluent have structured content, sure, but you can just as easily use conversational shows like Friends to get that natural rhythm.
Oh, are you?
Or even just short clips off social media like X. Quick, bite-sized practice. The world is basically your language lab.
That's brilliant. Okay, so as you know, English is this massive global language, right? Over 1.5 billion speakers.
Huge.
So you're dealing with tons of different accents, really tricky sounds that go sounds like think versus this or L and R.
Yeah, classic ones.
And just so many speaking styles. It's a real challenge. So why is shadowing specifically such a game changer for tackling these English hurdles? What's the linguistic magic happening?
Well, the linguistic benefits are pretty profound, actually, and there's a lot of research backing this up now. One of the biggest things, I think, is that shadowing builds phonetic muscle memory.
Muscle memory for your mouth.
Exactly. It helps you internalize those sounds that feel unfamiliar, those English ways of moving your tongue and lips. You're basically training your vocal muscles to make the sounds right automatically. Studies show it really improves pronunciation accuracy, helps reduce an accent if it's, getting in the way of being understood. It's about making your mouth speak English without thinking so hard.
Interesting. What else? Well, beyond just speaking, it dramatically sharpens your listening.
How so?
Because shadowing forces you to listen intensely. You have to really focus to catch everything. It trains your ear to pick up on connected speech. How going to slides into gonna.
Right, the way people actually talk.
Precisely. It's not passive listening, it's like active decoding. Research has found that even like 10 weeks of shadowing can give you a solid boost in listening comprehension, like a 25% improvement in one study.
Wow, 25%. That's significant. It really is. And here's a huge one. It massively boosts fluency and speaking confidence.
Okay, how does that work?
By mimicking that native-like pace and rhythm, you start to internalize sentence structures naturally. And crucially, it helps silence that little translator in your head.
Yeah, the constant translating.
Yes, right. Imagine speaking without doing that mental gymnastics. Research shows intermediate learners can see like a 30% jump in fluency after about 8 weeks. And a big reason it works is you're practicing in a low-stakes way. No pressure.
Just you and the recording.
Exactly, which naturally builds confidence because you're not afraid of making mistakes in front of someone.
Makes sense.
And then there's intonation and prosody. This is super important in English.
You mean like the musicality of it?
Yeah, kind of. English uses pitch and stress changes a lot to convey meaning, like you're coming versus you're coming. Same words, totally different meaning based on the tune, right?
Right, question versus statement.
Exactly. Shadowing helps you internalize those natural patterns. This is especially key if your first language has a flatter or just different kind of intonation. It unlocks meaning beyond just the words on the page.
Okay, what else is happening linguistically?
Well, it also supercharges vocabulary acquisition through context.
So not just memorizing lists.
Definitely not. When you shadow, say, a news broadcast, you hear words like legislation or diplomacy used naturally, in context.
Wow.
This embeds them much deeper than just seeing them on a flashcard. And you start building this mental phrase book of common expressions like make a difference or take it for granted. They become part of your active vocabulary.
I like that, mental phrase book.
Yeah. And related to that, you develop this powerful, almost subconscious grammatical intuition.
So you learn grammar without studying rules.
Kind of, yeah. You absorb patterns implicitly, like the subtle difference between I've been working and I was working. Through hearing and repeating them constantly in context, you just get a feel for what sounds right. You're not consciously analyzing the tense, you just know. This is especially good for intermediate and advanced learners refining their accuracy.
Interesting.
And this is exciting for a lot of people. It allows for targeted accent sculpting, or maybe reduction, depending on your goal.
You can choose an accent to aim for?
Pretty much. You can shadow speakers with a British accent, American, Australian, whatever you prefer. Or maybe you just want a clearer, more neutral, globally understandable pronunciation. Shadowing helps reduce the interference from your native language sounds, making your English clearer to more people.
That's really useful.
Definitely. And finally, it's invaluable for building pragmatic competence.
Pragmatic competence. What's that exactly?
It's about knowing how to use language appropriately in different social situations, politeness.
Oh, like knowing how to ask for something?
Exactly. Shadowing real conversations teaches you those nuances. Things like using softer language, could you possibly help me? Knowing casual phrases, no worries, catch you later. Understanding indirectness, getting the tone right.
Stuff that's hard to learn from a textbook.
Absolutely crucial for cultural fluency, really, and for just, not accidentally offending people or causing misunderstandings in real life.
That's incredible. Okay, so it's clear there's a lot going on for your mouth, your ears, your language skills, but what's happening, like, deeper inside in your brain? So what does this all mean for your brain and maybe your confidence levels? What are those deeper cognitive, maybe even psychological benefits?
Yeah, the cognitive side is really fascinating, and it explains why it's so powerful. First off, it seriously strengthens your auditory processing.
Okay.
Shadowing is demanding. It really hones your brain's ability to quickly decode speech, which actually improves your working memory, too.
Your working memory.
Yeah, that sort of mental scratch pad you use for processing information right now, vital for language learning. Your brain basically becomes a better linguistic detective.
I like that.
Second, it's direct motor skill development, like we talked about muscle memory.
Right, for the mouth.
Exactly. Repeating those English sounds over and over trains your articulatory muscles, your tongue, lips, jaw. It builds muscle memory for English phones, those individual sounds. It's like vocal athletics training.
Vocal athletics.
Oh. And beyond that, it boosts multitasking and cognitive flexibility.
How? Because you're listening and speaking at once.
Precisely. That act alone enhances your brain's ability to juggle tasks and switch focus. This is really key for navigating real conversations where you need to understand different accents, switch between formal and informal language.
Yeah, it makes you on your toes.
It's like your brain's linguistic acrobatics.
Right.
And here's where it gets really mind-bending. It taps into neuroplasticity.
The brain changing itself.
Exactly. Regular shadowing actually encourages your brain to form new neural pathways for language production and comprehension. It physically rewires itself, adapting to the demands of English.
Wow.
And there was this really interesting study back in 2021. It found shadowing activates the brain's mirror neuron system.
Mirror neurons, aren't those involved in like empathy and imitation?
Yes, the very same system. It facilitates learning by observing and imitating others. So shadowing basically leverages this fundamental human learning mechanism. Your brain is literally wired to learn this way.
That's amazing. So it's not just a trick, it's how we're built.
Pretty much underscores why it's so effective. And finally, on the psychological side, it's a massive tool for building resilience and confidence.
How does that work?
Well, think about practicing in private. Shadowing alone means it's a totally low-stakes environment.
No one's judging you.
Exactly. You can experiment, make mistakes, sound totally silly, it doesn't matter. This drastically reduces performance anxiety, that fear of speaking.
Yeah, that fear is real.
Totally. And as you practice, you start hearing your own progress. Your pronunciation gets clearer, your delivery smoother. That self-perception of improvement builds huge self-assurance. It's like having your own personal judgment-free rehearsal stage.
That's a profound point, especially about the mirror neurons and the confidence boost. It sounds incredibly powerful. But okay, for someone listening right now, maybe thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually do this? Where do I even start putting this into my routine, regardless of my current level or what I'm aiming for?
Yeah.
What are the practical ways you can start your own shadowing journey?
Great question. Because it needs to be practical, right?
Right.
The good news is shadowing is super versatile. For self-study, you can use apps designed for it, like Speechling or Glossica.
Okay.
Or honestly, just grab content from Audible, YouTube, podcasts, whatever. It also works great in classrooms. Teachers can use it. It can simulate immersion if you're not living in an English-speaking place.
Oh, interesting. Like a mini immersion.
Kind of, yeah. And it's a huge help for exam prep TOEFL, IELTS, where that fluency and natural rhythm really count.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you tailor it, say, for different levels? Beginner versus advanced.
Good point. Let's break it down. If you're a beginner or just want to really solidify the basics, start simple. Use slow-paced, clearly spoken materials.
Like what?
Think simple dialogues, language learning podcasts for beginners, maybe even children's audiobooks. The Very Hungry Caterpillar is actually great for basic sounds.
Hi.
Focus on short chunks, maybe just a minute or two, and prioritize getting the pronunciation right over speed. Maybe repeat one sentence 10 times until it feels natural. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Got it. Slow and steady. What about intermediate learners?
Okay, intermediate learners, you can definitely handle more complex stuff. Try podcasts on topics you like, or dialogues from TV shows. Sitcoms are great for natural conversation rhythm.
Like Friends again?
Yeah, exactly. And this is where you can introduce selective shadowing.
Selective.
Meaning you focus on one specific thing for a bit, maybe just the stress patterns in a few sentences, or how sounds link together, like what are you becoming wadaya?
Focusing your attention.
Right. And a really good tip here, record yourself shadowing, then listen back and compare it to the original. Your ears will start picking up the differences.
Ooh, that sounds useful. It may be a bit scary at first.
It can be, but it's so effective. And for advanced learners, shadowing is fantastic for really polishing your skills, especially for professional or academic settings.
Like what kind of materials?
Think TED Talks, university lectures, complex news reports, maybe interviews with experts in your field. Here, you can push yourself with simultaneous shadowing, trying to mimic with almost no delay.
Wow, like the interpreters.
Exactly. It's brilliant practice for high-stakes situations like job interviews or giving presentations, helps you sound incredibly fluent and natural under pressure.
Okay, so you can adapt it to your level. Can you also adapt it to, like, different goals? Like academic versus casual English.
Absolutely. It's super adaptable. For academic English, students could shadow lectures on, say, climate change to pick up terms like carbon footprint or mitigation strategies in context.
Makes sense.
For professional communication, maybe you shadow business podcasts or talks by industry leaders to get comfortable with jargon like agile methodology or stakeholder engagement.
Right, learn the lingo.
Exactly. For social and cultural integration, maybe you've moved to an English-speaking country. Shadowing casual dialogues from movies or vlogs is amazing for learning humor, slang, social cues.
Handwritten rules.
Totally. And even for creative expression. If you're into public speaking or acting, try shadowing charismatic speakers, poets, maybe even actors doing monologues. Think Shakespeare or a stand-up comedian. It helps develop really expressive intonation and timing.
That's a cool idea. Okay, so lots of ways to use it. Any practical tips to make sure you're doing it effectively, like pitfalls to avoid?
Yeah, definitely some key strategies. 1, choose the right materials. Make sure they match your level. But also, crucially, that they interest you. If it's boring, you just won't stick with it.
Good point.
2, break it down. Don't try shadowing a whole 30-minute podcast straight off. Maybe listen first without shadowing, then focus on small chunks, like 30 seconds or a minute at a time. Manageable bits.
Okay.
3, use repetition wisely. Don't just repeat once. Go over the same short segment multiple times, maybe 5 or 10 times. Each time, maybe focus on something different. First pronunciation, then intonation, then speed.
Layering the focus.
Exactly. 4, get feedback. We mentioned recording yourself. Compare it to the original. Use speech recognition tools if you have them, like eLessee Speak. Or, if possible, get a teacher or a native speaker friend to listen sometime.
Objective ears.
Right. 5, vary your content. Keep things fresh. Mix it up news one day, a movie scene the next. Maybe try shadowing a song you like. Bohemian Rhapsody, anyone. Great for rhythm.
Maybe start easier.
Probably wise. And finally, 6, integrate it. Combine shadowing with other skills. Maybe try transcribing the dialogue first, then shadow it. Or read the script aloud yourself before shadowing the original speaker. It reinforces learning in different ways.
This all sounds incredibly effective, really. The research, the different ways to apply it, it's compelling. But let's be honest, even the best techniques have hurdles, right? This raises a key question. What about the difficulties you might run into when trying shadowing? And more importantly, how do you get past them?
That's a really crucial point. Knowing the potential bumps in the road helps you navigate them. A big one, especially at the start, is just cognitive overload.
Feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. Trying to listen, process, and speak all at once can feel like too much. The solution, just slow down. Use slower audio if possible, or work with much shorter segments. Gradually increase the difficulty as your brain adapts.
Okay, start small.
Definitely. Yeah. Another common issue is the lack of immediate feedback. You're often doing it alone, so how do you know if you're doing it right?
Right.
That's where recording yourself and comparing becomes so important. Or using those speech recognition apps, they can give you some objective input.
Makes sense. What if it just gets boring?
Monotony. Yeah, that can happen. The fix is simple. Vary your materials. If you're tired of news reports, switch to a comedy show scene, or try shadowing a song. Keep your brain engaged with stuff you actually enjoy.
Mix it up.
Right. Then there's the difficulty with speed. Native speakers can talk fast.
Tell me about it.
Again, technology helps. Many apps and audio players let you slow down the playback speed without making the voice sound weird. Use that feature. Give yourself time to keep up, then gradually speed it back up.
Okay, use the tools.
Absolutely. What about motivation? Sometimes it's hard to stick with it.
Yeah, finding the time, the energy.
The key here is small, achievable goals. Don't aim for an hour a day right away. Start with just 5 minutes. Seriously, 5 minutes consistently is way better than an hour once a month.
Yeah.
Build the habit, reward yourself for sticking to it.
Little wins.
Exactly. And if inconsistent practice is the issue, you do it for a few days, then try linking it to an existing routine.
Yeah.
Shadow during your commute. While washing dishes. Just before bed. Make it automatic.
Habits.
Precisely. And finally, what if you keep making the same pronunciation errors? Like you just can't get the sound right?
Yeah, frustrate.
Don't get discouraged. Isolate the problem. Focus intensely on just that one sound for a while. Use minimal pairs, words that differ only by that sound, like think versus sink or red versus lead. Drill down on the specific issue.
Targeted practice. Okay.
Yeah, and remember, the real-world results really speak for themselves. There are great case studies.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, there was a program in Japanese universities back in 2022. ESL learners who shadowed regularly saw, on average, a 20% boost in speaking confidence and a 15% improvement in pronunciation accuracy in just 3 months.
Wow, that's quick progress.
It really is. And think about immigrant communities, say, in the U.S. There have been shadowing programs for Spanish speakers, for instance, that directly led to better communication skills at work, which then opened up better job opportunities. Real tangible benefits.
That's fantastic.
And online language platforms like Italki often report that learners who combine shadowing with their regular tutoring see much faster progress in actual conversational ability compared to those just doing tutoring.
So it really accelerates things.
It seems to significantly boost the practical application of what you're learning. Now, imagine the long-term impact on your English. Let's say, hypothetically, you shadowed just 15 minutes every day for 6 months.
Okay.
You could realistically expect to reduce your accent influence by maybe 20–30%. Your speech would just be clearer, easier for more people to understand.
That alone is huge.
Totally. Your speaking fluency could increase by around 25%. Conversations would feel smoother, less effortful. Your listening comprehension could jump by 20%, helping you follow faster speech or different accents more easily. And your active vocabulary could expand by maybe 500 to 1,000 words or useful phrases, just absorbed naturally through context. These aren't just tiny tweaks. These are genuinely transformative changes in how you communicate. That really puts it into perspective. So if we boil down the core message of this deep dive, shadowing isn't just another technique you could try. It seems like it's this dynamic, evidence-based, really holistic method. And it's adaptable. It directly targets pronunciation, fluency, listening, and even that deeper cultural, social competence stuff. It accelerates the whole process.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, shadowing does more than just improve language skills, right? It fosters a deeper, more authentic connection to English-speaking cultures. It really empowers you not just to, speak English words, but to communicate genuinely, naturally, and importantly, with real confidence.
That's a powerful way to put it. And as you, our listener, reflect on this technique, maybe consider this thought. What if this really powerful act of vocal mimicry isn't just some clever language hack? What if it's actually tapping into a fundamental human learning mechanism that we could apply way beyond just words?
Think about it. What other complex skills could you potentially acquire or refine by consistently shadowing experts? Whether it's mastering a musical instrument, learning a new coding language, maybe even perfecting a tricky cooking technique. Something to ponder. Now go forth and put this knowledge into practice.